Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Pokemon Let's Go Eevee for the Nintendo Switch. In this episode, we are going to be doing the Rocket HQ and progressing up towards the Pokemon Tower in some attempt to quell the rage of a dead Marowak, only for us to turn away because we forgot the Silph Scope. How did I forget the Silph Scope? I genuinely do not know, but I did, meaning that we have to do this part now. But with all of the ghosts ahead of us not letting us proceed. At least this time around, we brought some capable Pokemon with us, such as Kadabra, but that's besides the point. I mean, even our rival here ran away like a little bitch because he was scared. He was scared! Jokes aside, this is actually a really cool section of the game. It kind of feels like PlayStation 1 era Metal Gear Solid, only for kids. Especially since you're only considered caught if the ghosts themselves actually touch you. Otherwise, you're free to actually be seen. Whereas in Metal Gear Solid 1, you were not allowed to. It's not even Metal Gear Solid 1, it's just Metal Gear Solid. Because Metal Gear Solid is actually the third game. There's also Metal Gear MSX and Metal Gear 2 for the MSX, but that's besides the point. Moving on, these trainers, I was going to show them off, but at the end of the day, I realized that they weren't really all that interesting. You don't need to see me defeat a Ghastly and a Haunter over and over again. Especially since that's pretty much all these channelers use. I was debating actually showing it off, but then I realized that there's no point. It doesn't add too much to the actual narrative of the game. Still, for what is essentially a stealth dungeon, now that they have overworld wild encounters as opposed to the random encounters of the original games, they're okay. They're not great. They're just okay. And in being okay, everything was changed. And now we are just going to keep going through this tower because at the end of the day, this tower as a dungeon is very bare bones, and it was clearly designed in 95 as opposed to modern day dungeon design. But once again, this is a remake of a game from 95. Well, 96 was when it came out. So I give it a pass. And at least this remake is a lot better than, say, the way they handled the BDSP remakes. Because they added more features. The Let's Go games, I'm okay with them only having Gen 1 Pokemon. I've actually been okay of Dexit. In fact, even when it first began, I was in favor of Dexit. I just made the conscious decision to keep everything that I've ever caught historically in the Ultra games. And just have Switch onwards only focus on individual gameplay playthroughs. Because I don't care about competitive Pokemon anymore. The only time I ever dabbled in it was late Gen 4, very early Gen 5. And other than that, I just didn't really have any fun with it. And the only reason I did it is because my friends were into it, and I mean, it was fun, it was cool, but grinding Pokemon was such a boring method. Now, I know that it's been made simpler over the years, but I just don't care. None of my friends are into it right now, so it's not something that I want to be into it. I do like the single player of Pokemon, though. Genuinely, I think that the single player of Pokemon is really good. Specifically, the core loop. I know that a lot of people don't like the core loop, but that's besides the point. I like it. I'm not too big on chasing trends in terms of the games I play. You won't catch me playing for Horizon Zero Dawn. You won't catch me playing Forza Motorsport. None of those games. You really won't catch me playing a Baldur's Gate, for example. Because those kinds of games just don't interest me. I know that they interest other people, but they don't interest me. Same reason why you will probably, unless someone gives me the game, never catch me playing a sports game. Except for NES Golf, because NES Golf is goated. But other than that, no. And even then, I can't stand recording NES games. They're too much of a hassle to set up. So, unless I'm playing it on an emulator, you won't see me, for the most part, play old games. Part of why I made the switch to PC gaming isn't just for recording video games on YouTube. but also because I was just so sick of all of the hassles with the console. The console experience was meant to be, it was meant to be very convenient, but ever since the Xbox One onwards, it just hasn't been as convenient. You gotta do all these installs, all these updates, and I just can't stand it. And I figured, if I'm going to be getting a substandard PC experience anyways, I might as well get a good PC experience. The only system that is I could even call a console anymore is the Switch. Because the Series X and the PlayStation 5 are just really bad PCs. At least the Switch is a dedicated console and has things that a PC can't offer. Such as really good portability. You could make the case that you can port your Series X and your PS5, but the thing is that you have to go through so many hoops to do so, and it's just not feasible long term. When you're taking your Switch out, it's perfectly fine. And now we get to one of the few story encounters, so I will be showing off this Rocket Don member. I believe he has Eradicate, and that's about it. If you're asking me to remember the exact teams of every single enemy in this game, outside of boss trainers, you got me, so I'll mostly be skipping over it. Albeit, the gameplay for this itself isn't really that bad. It's actually pretty good. I do like it. It's just not great. And wow, you can see that Kadabra's a new addition, as opposed to Eevee, who's been on the team for a while. Look at that level difference. It's ridiculous. Very ridiculous. But, in how ridiculous it is, it becomes somewhat funny. Very funny, if you ask me, regarding how much of a level jump it is. And it's just, I'm so happy when I look at this Kanto game. It's just, there's something about Kanto, Johto, and Sinnoh that I like so much that it just makes me smile. Hoenn I liked because it actually forced me to try, but it's just, I don't have that same happy feeling that I get when I play through Sinnoh, Kanto, and Johto. I still stand by Kanto being the best region in terms of how it's designed, but I understand the arguments for every other region. I really do. And before anyone calls me a Gen 1er, please note that I wasn't alive in the 90s, so I was not around to experience Gen 1, so I don't want to hear anybody tell me that. Okay, I didn't have those nostalgic Link battles, because, number one, I actually have a Link cable, but nobody that I know rocks a Gen 1 game, just casually. No, they're all playing on their Switches, their Series X, or PS5. And the truth is, I would do a lot more multiplayer games, except for the fact that most of my friends, they're playing on console, and because of that, we have a lot of connection issues. It gets to the point of being boring. Even though I honestly think it's okay. For example, when we did those Minecraft Battle Dome videos, setting those up is a pain in the ass. Genuinely a pain in the ass. I don't like setting those up. But we do it anyways because that's just how we do things. Because we're friends and we like spending time together. But here, I'm okay with how I did the multiplayer for this one. The Let's Go games are already easy enough, so by adding multiplayer, it just becomes easier. But it doesn't really change too much as the game is already easy. I know that I keep harping on how easy this game is, but it bears repeating because as we get further and further, you expect the game to get harder. But no, it's actually the inverse. The farther we get into the game, the easier it seems to get. And I understand that, once again, this game was made for the casual market. It wasn't made for the dedicated Pokemon audience. But the dedicated audience still played it, and it's still a fun game at the end of the day. It's a very profitable game. I gotta give them credit for that. And, you know, I love Kadabra. Kadabra is just one of the best Pokemon in Gen 1. Evolving him to Alakazam is so good too, but nobody who has a Switch that I know actually wanted to come over to help me trade. No. And you could say, but Miguel, Nintendo Switch Online, have your friends trade for you with there. No, I refuse to pay for online other than the internet bill. The internet bill is the only reason I would ever pay for online. If you're telling me I need to pay for online to play a console multiplayer game online, damn that, that's a wasted expense. That's another reason why I think the switch to PC was one of the smartest decisions I've ever made. And also, just my absolute hatred for live service games. Maybe that's why I'm not too jaded and why I tend to find myself playing a lot of games that people don't. It's just something about live service games. I don't like them. The way they're set up. I'm not gonna, hate on anybody who plays live service games. Because it's their money, not mine. But I just think that regarding how they affect the game industry, it's not what I'm into. I like other kinds of games. I mean, I'm probably one of the few vehement defenders of turn-based still around in the modern day. Because so many people that I know nowadays really can't stand turn-based. Now, there's always going to be groups who do. Okay, Octopath Traveler did well, so we have that to be the proof of concept. But it's just, like, most of my friends, they're playing FPS games. And I like FPS games. But the problem is I play FPS games from the early 2000s. I don't play FPS games from modern day, because modern day FPS games, I don't know, they're just not doing it for me. Maybe it's because I'm not a big fan of smart movement in games, or because I don't like ADS. But it's just one of those things where it's a preference take. I'll play a shooter game with my friends if they want to play shooter games, but it's not my game of choice. Okay, I like JRPG. I like action platform games. I'm not too big on other types of games for the most part. Even my Steam profile shows that I mostly play platforming and JRPG. It's kind of funny when you think about it. Of course, we'll go north here to pick up a revive, and then we'll go south through another. You spin me right round, baby, right round, like a record, baby, right round, round, round. I wanted to put that song in, but I think that the copyright claims would get me. I'll try to put it in, but if copyright says no, then so be it. If it is in the video, then I'm glad that people now know I liked brain scratch comps. Man, that playthrough of Leaf Green was so funny, but they were so mean to Amanda by the end of it. I kind of felt bad for her. Admittedly, Amanda did do a lot of things to herself. For goodness sake, the poor girl confused herself during the commentary. That her male co-host also got confused by what she was saying, which led to some rude behavior directed towards her. But, at the same time, you just can't help but feel bad for someone who's giving it their all but not succeeding at it. Because it's not like she was being indolent. She was actually being really good at what she was trying to do. But that's besides the point. Now we need to play one of my favorite additions to this game, and that is you can play as Eevee. Even if not for a lot of it, you can still play as the damn dog. I think Eevee's supposed to be a dog, right? Eevee's a dog and Pikachu's a mouse, I believe. Still, for the most part, this is actually one of the coolest sections to me. I genuinely do like this, and I wish we got more of this. But at the same time, if we're not gonna get it, that's okay as well. I would actually like a jump button in a Pokemon game. I don't even know why, but given they want to do the whole open world thing, a jump button would be so cool. I know that people are going to find that weird because Pokemon's not about that, but it's one of those things that I like. I also like this whole callback to Heart Gold and Soul Silver, because Heart Gold and Soul Silver as a video game is just so good. So I'm not going to be against it at all, in the slightest. But here, our little Eevee is making the rounds and helping us get to Giovanni, otherwise known as Sakaki in the Japanese, and to defeat the evil Team Rocket. After all Pokemon exist solely for Team Rocket. That's what they say, right? This kind of does spoil that the Rocket Dawn crew from the anime are here. I don't know. I wasn't too big on them bringing in Jesse and James for the yellow version, but they did it, so I'm not gonna say too much against it. Again, this is the game for the casual audience, who, regrettably, is the largest audience, but that's besides the point. We also have this Rocket Grunt here, who after defeating him, he opens the door, whereas in the Japanese, in the original version, the door gets broken from the battle itself. And of course, all we have left to do now is a double battle with Jesse and James. Then we fight Archer and then Giovanni. and I believe I show all of them off, so we actually get to do some cool stuff in this game. After all, these are very notable story trainers, so I might as well show off their battles despite how easy they're gonna be. So now, prepare for trouble, and make it double. To protect the world from devastation, to unite our people within our nation, to denounce the evils of truth and love, to extend our reach to the stars above. Jesse, James, Team Rocket, blast off at the speed of light. Surrender now, or prepare to fight. Meowth, that's right. Well, come on. Did you guys really think I would go the whole playthrough without making that reference? Come on. It would be ridiculous not to. The anime was such an influential series that not making the playthrough would be disrespectful to the game itself. Still, wow, we really over-leveled these enemies. Genuinely, it's just so high leveled compared to everyone else. Although, maybe it's just me, but I think they nerfed Kadabra in this game. Especially when you look at how Kadabra performed in the original Gen 1, I swear he was more useful. Don't get me wrong, you can still get some great results with Kadabra. It's a very powerful Pokemon in a vacuum. But man, if you played in the original Gen 1, Kadabra was a beast. A beast! That could not be tamed. It was one of the best Pokemon to play with. Still, it's not invincible. We defeated the Arbok, and now we go to the next section, the fight against Archer, who is weaker than his Heart Gold Soul Silver counterpart, which makes sense given the fact that his Heart Gold and Soul Silver counterpart is supposedly 3 years after this game. So it makes sense. So we go north, and we get to more story. Future callbacks to... current day callbacks to previous games that are set in the future. I guess that's how I could phrase that. Still, I like this battle. I like his outfit. I wish it was the white outfit from the Heart Gold and Soul Silver games. But given it's not, it's okay. I'm surprised we don't get to see Ariadna in this game. But maybe they just didn't have that there because they forgot about her or something. Or maybe this is foreshadowing to the Let's Go Johto games, if we ever get those. I'd rather not. I'd rather just get a remake of Heart Gold and Soul Silver and have it be in the style of Scarlet and Violet. Only with more optimization, please. That's all I want. Just give us more optimization. And give us back our dodge roll. The dodge roll in the Legends game was such a good addition that I wish it stayed around. And the throwing a Pokeball outside of battle thing. That was cool too. So now we have grown to level 42 with our Eevee. Yeah. Kadabra. And Nidoqueen grew as well. Great. And next we have Golbat. Golbat will also go down like a chump because Eevee is just so broken. And even if it doesn't fall to Eevee, Kadabra will take care of it for us. But Golbat actually survived that. Wow, I completely forgot. I thought that Eevee managed to take it out despite the level gap. But still, paralysis means that Kadabra can defeat it for us. Yes. And there goes Archer's battle, who admittedly is not as difficult as his Heart Gold and Soul Silver counterpart, but then again, his Heart Gold and Soul Silver team was fought when you were after Gym 7, whereas here we only have 4 gym badges. So of course they would make it easier. It would be, in terms of game design, a really bad idea to do otherwise. I must say, I'm impressed you made it this far. Alright, Giovanni, let's fight. Because, according to you, all Pokemon exist solely for Team Rocket. I mean, we're wearing his uniform. Could you imagine if they gave us a choice to join? They would never do it, but it would be funny. Oh, I love that lightning effect. That lightning effect that appears when Giovanni shows up, man, that makes him look like a boss. Albeit, I think they actually nerfed him from his original Red, Blue, Yellow, Green fight. Because I'm pretty sure he had a Kangaskhan as well. I think he had a Kangaskhan. I might be wrong about that. I might be. I'm trying to remember now. Still, if there's one thing this game is going to do, it's going to make it harder to go back to some of the older games, like the Hoenn games, because, man, XP All is just so spoiling. It helps so much that it's useful. So we defeat the Persian. It's good. is cool. And then afterwards, the Rhyhorn. This is the foreshadowing. Albeit, the foreshadowing that only the hardcores would get, and the hardcores probably already know the plot to this game like the back of their hand, so they don't really care. Still, it's a cool battle. I like it a lot, and we have defeated Team Rocket's leader, Giovanni. And I mean, I love this game. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. I love this game to death. I just wish that there were difficulty selects. Okay, part of me wishes that we got Pokemon on PC. But then again, I know why they don't, because then I would never buy Nintendo hardware again. If they put Super Mario and Pokemon on the PC, I would not buy any console in the future. And that's probably why they don't do that. I'm not kidding. When it comes to Nintendo, I think those are the only two franchises that I truly care about. I don't even care about Smash Brothers anymore. I played Melee. I love the hell out of it. I played Brawl. I love the hell out of that for Subspace Emissary, but albeit for multiplayer, I'll still play Melee over it. Smash 4 was because my friends in school played it, and Smash Ultimate was because my friends in school played it. It's not because I like the game itself. At least not truthfully. I believe I tried to escape with an escape rope, but you actually can't do it. LOL. So what I have to do is just get out of there manually. But at least the trip isn't very long, thanks to the power of editing. I mean, look at this. We click, the screen goes black, and bam! We are in the Poké Center. Isn't editing awesome, guys? Man, I used to hate editing. If you look at my old videos, I used to leave in the grinding. That's crazy. I really did used to do that. Not anymore, though. That's not my thing. Still, now that we've defeated Team Rocket boss, that'll be the end of this part. I want to thank all of you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, comment on the video and share this video so more people can see it. Have a nice day, ladies and gentlemen.